Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from hot and humid southern West Virginia. I'm here camping with the kids today and tomorrow, and then we're heading on to Tennessee. So, one of the perks for me of doing an online class is I get to have a bit of a vacation with the kids this summer. So, hope you all are doing okay, suffering through this hot and humid here on the East Coast. And those of you in the middle part of the country and the west. I'm not quite sure what your weather is out that way. I know that the humidity probably in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area has got to be in the 90% range. So I hope you're staying cool. I hope the chats over the last few days were helpful to feel connected with other students, have an opportunity to ask questions about the class, and as we looked at the GOP convention from last week, challenging each of us to stay informed and aware of what both political parties are doing. I'll schedule chats again for next weekend. And similar format will be about 30 minutes. We'll talk about where you are with your assignments, have any questions. We'll talk a little bit about the reading. So, I just want to get some feedback about the Fatner book from all of you. And then we will wrap it up by talking about the Democratic Convention. So I look at these chat sessions as an opportunity similar to classroom discussion. So no pressure, when I say I'm going to talk about the Stratner book, it's really just if you can identify, maybe the one part of the book that really stuck out to you or something maybe you had a question about that I might be able to answer further. That's what we're looking at talking about during this session. Okay. As I had said in last week's video, I really love the Stratner book. It has been so much fun for me to reread it along with you. It brings back a lot of names that I've known through my own graduate education and teaching that sometimes, I forget the impact, that they had now over 100 years ago. And I like to kind of ground myself in the reality of what we've come from and where we are today and where we need to go. And in some ways, where things are the same, and in some ways, how things are so very different. So the chapters that you had to do for this week were chapters 6 through 12, and these chapters should provide you a lot of foundation for what you need for your paper this week when it asks you the historical origin. That question of, when was this first identified as a problem? Whom identified it as a problem? Many of the issues that you have picked for your paper are things that are talked about in these chapters. So chapter 6 is child welfare, chapter 7, public health, chapter 8, settlement house movement, chapter 9, mental health movement, chapter 10, the renaissance of public welfare, chapter 11, the quest for professionalism, and then chapter 12, social work and welfare in the 1920s. I will be doing notes again for you throughout the week this week and uploading them, just summaries of some key points in the chapters. But I do just want to highlight a couple things. Names are always important. I like to try to remember who some of the key people were along the way. Uh, Certainly, you need to know Jane Addams and the Settlement House movement, Hull House in Chicago. He was one of the pioneers of the Settlement House movement in the United States, although New York was the original Settlement House. But Jane Addams is the most well known. And some other ladies along with her are Lillian Wald, Frances Kelly. There are some gentlemen that were involved in that early child welfare, settlement house, welfare movement. Um, the next is this, kind of what happened in terms of our understanding of social welfare, the impact of enlightenment is going to be talked about, some of the ways in which popular literary writers had an impact on how we solve social problems. And I think we continue to see that today, not so much in written form, but certainly in the media, in songs and in video and movies and news. Um, my kids today, YouTube is the phenomenon that is really changing social culture, changing what's popular for them, changing what's important for them. So, who are the spokespeople on YouTube? Who is it that they relate to? Who is it that they connect with? For my generation and many others in this class, it was music. Starting with probably the late 50s through the 60s, 70s, 80s. We were defined by the music we listened to, and the music gave us a voice for many social issues. One of the most important songs in my life is by Phil Collins, "Another Day in Paradise." Another Day in Paradise. I think that's the name of it. Drawing a blank there. But it's about homelessness, and about the man who walked by the woman on the street. That profoundly impacted me, profoundly changed how I saw the world around me, and many other songs. One of my foster youth talks about Eminem and the way in which Eminem speaks his language. And, having been in foster care himself, son of a substance using mom with mental health problems, Josh can relate to him and, understand his songs speak to him. So, we see that often even today with young people. So think about ways in which, the message and the messenger may have been different 100, 120, 25 years ago, but is the message still the same today? Are we still talking about the same issues? We saw the evolution really of public and private institutions during this era from the late 1800s through the 1920s. So you read a lot about organizations that developed. The New York Children's Aid Society was one of the first, well established. New York led the way in the development of a lot of social services. So, how is that still true or not true today? I have the opportunity when I teach at another university, teach a lot of students from New York, and I can still see a lot of differences in how they provide social services. One of the books that'll be mentioned or an author is Clifford Beers, The Mind That Found Itself, A Mind That Found Itself. And that's an autobiography that he wrote, having been diagnosed with a mental illness, institutionalized, treated poorly in the institution, getting out and recovering. And so think about, maybe some memoirs, autobiographies that you may be aware of someone who tells a similar story, 100 years later, and what we learned from him, and what we need to continue to learn from people who tell their stories. I think that that is a very powerful message and tool to make change within our institutions and our structure. Another is Abraham Flexner, who in 1915 wrote a paper and address at a conference asking the social worker profession. And if you ever had the opportunity to read the paper, as I have, you could think that he were writing this almost, verbatim today. Some of the questions that were asked. So for over 100 years, social work has struggled to define who it is, who belongs as a social worker, what is our role, what is our responsibility, what are our credentials that are needed. Pennsylvania is still working to pass title protection. It's gotten through, I think. I know we advocated for it last year, and I believe it's been put through the House. I just don't know if it's been signed into legislation. We'll have to look that up and let you all know during the chat. But who can call themselves a social worker is what title protection means. That only those with a degree in social work are going to be allowed to call themselves social workers. You know, um, if oftentimes, for example, if you go into a nursing home, there will be a staff person there who may call him or herself a social worker, but she may or may not have a degree in social work. So title protection, you know, going back to 1915 and seeing, what Flexner was asking us to do to define ourselves as a profession. So there's some of the highlights. Again, I will do notes and have them posted throughout the week on each of the chapters. And if you have any questions as you're doing your paper, please reach out. It's much easier for me to have a few minute conversation with you, maybe talk about what it is you're struggling with, section of the paper you maybe aren't understanding, or to talk about resources or a section that maybe you're missing in your understanding of the history and the evolution of the social problem. So have a great week, and I look forward to talking with all of you and chatting. Talk to you soon. Bye.